Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the morning show with yours truly, Dex the Algo Capitalist. And I'm here with my main man, Frank. Frank, say what's up to the people.
What's up, people? Good morning. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great. Good to be here.
Yes, exciting day. We've got world collapsing. We're at Book of Revelation. We've got the Fed. We've got all kinds of stuff. It's happening. But I'm glad to be here. I do want to let people know something cool, Dex.
What's
Um,
that?
well, sometimes I make mistakes and they sit there a while because I'm a wacky, neurotic, creative guy. It's the way I roll. But I have corrected one that is very important for anybody who loves all things algo capitalist and who doesn't. So head over to Pulse Rate Trading and click on the Discord button, or you can click right below on our dashboard. You can see there's a link here to our latest private episode for our members, which you're seeing the first part of now. And then the private section or segment, not to be confused with the private part, happens later when we go off of our public social channels. So that's right here. But anyway, folks, what I really wanted to say was join our Discord. We're hanging out in there. We're taking questions. We've got our off-topic chat to talk about our OTB episodes, which are coming back soon, and lots of other great stuff. So we'd love to have you there. Also, if you're interested in Team Dex, that's a great way to connect with us. And you could watch the most recent replay about how this works on Team Dex. And, as we put your pretty face there instead of that alien. So, not to say you're fully human, but
Exactly. Got to be clear about that now. Got to be clear.
gotta keep it. So anyway, you could check that out. Watch our latest replay there. I'm afraid to click on it because I can't remember if I fixed the link, but I'm gonna. But anyway, our website's working great. Discord button, dashboard to get to Discord, Team Dex, Algo Capitalist Bullpen. You know what we do, and if you don't, you really need to go there and find out because we're doing stuff really to help people practice capitalism. Many people are Christmas and Easter capitalists. They like to think about other people like Donald Trump being capitalists, but they don't practice it in their lives. So
Exactly.
there's lots of ways to do that. We really like the way that we've come up with, which is the Algo Capitalist Bullpen, which is a way for you to put your own money to work. Even small amounts. We get this question all the time, Dex. How much money do you need to get started trading? Using the A.T.A.C reports, the Algo Trigger Trend Alert Catcher reports that you created over 20 years ago that are killer. And the answer is you really don't need to be a wealthy person. You don't need to have some kind of gigantic stack or amount of cash that you're sitting on. You can get started with very, very minimally, especially if you're doing Forex or cryptos or E-minis, the E-mini futures. And then that's also true with Team Dex. It really, we can work with you on it. Discord is a great place to get your questions answered about all of that. So we hope you'll check that out.
And
Thanks,
real
Dex.
quick, before you go,
Yeah.
I got to make this announcement since we're live. Okay. For any and everyone who goes to postwavetrading.com and schedules a live session with me, please reach out to me in the Discord and let me know you scheduled an appointment with the date and time so that I can make note of it, because we have so many people and there are times when, or actually technically, I don't get any alerts.
Yeah, no, we actually, Dex, they could just, if they're in the Discord, they can reach out to you directly to set it up. That's the best thing to do.
Yeah, because I've had a couple people.
That thing was a pain in the neck, so I took it down.
Yeah, I think people are still using it because I just got a message this morning saying someone just scheduled an appointment with me for today.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, yeah. Anyway, yeah, make sure you Discord Dex, and we'll make sure you get in touch. So
yes, please do. Please do.
We're always
all right. That's all I wanted to say.
And that's a good way to get it. So, all right. Thanks, folks. I'm
Thanks,
out.
Frank. All right.
Thanks,
peace.
buddy. Peace.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know what we do here. We do a lot. We try to bring it to you live and direct. We bring you the raw. We try to approach things from a bibliocentric perspective, as you already know. We don't make any excuses for that. We're not shy about it. We like to look at the local news items, worldly, global news items that affect the economy and these markets, and also your personal well-being. I try to talk about things that other people are not talking about. And for those popular issues out there, I try to hit things from a different perspective so that you can have a well-orbed view of what's really going on out here. instead of a left or a right. I try to hit you from the middle, and I try to give you the pros and cons, the positives and negatives, the good and the bad, the ugly, and all that good stuff. All right, minus the Lee Van Cleef and the Clint Eastwood. So with that saying, let's go right into these markets. So right now on your screen, you see the overnight markets and the real-time markets. You see that the U.S. dollar index is up about 30 pips. It's at 103.89, so it's racing to get back above 104. Now it did top out in the overnight market at 104.05. And it's putting a little bit of pressure on the euro. It's down 12 pips at 108.99, dropping below that 109 psychological support. And the pound sterling is down 28 pips, trading at 127.08. And yes, it did dip and break into the 126 handle at 126.74. As far as the Aussie is concerned, it's down 35 pips at 65.38. So a little bit of pressure going on there. Looking at the Bitcoin futures, though, total crush this morning. Right now, we're down $4,205, trading at 62,980, bouncing off the overnight low of 62,705. So just $200 off of that overnight low. Looking at the Ethereum futures, down $247.50, trading at $3,244.50. Now, if you missed last night's watch list video, you need to watch that after you finish watching this, because I went into specifics on the Bitcoin and the Ethereum. I pointed out to you in last night's video that once we got that crash alert, and then we got the confirmation with the bearish trend momentum reading, I pointed out to you that Ethereum was already in a corrective mode. And I showed you that Bitcoin was in pullback mode and had not yet entered into correction mode, thus not really confirming yet that it's, that part of it. So I gave you the price intraday price inflection points to be specific and watch out for. So hopefully you took heed to that, because once those intraday price inflection points are triggered, that's where the market's going. All right, and you just need to be abreast of that. Looking at the crude oil futures, up 31 cents this morning, trading at $82.48 a barrel, after dipping to $81.81 a barrel in the overnight market. So very interesting here, with the volatility is starting to increase in some of these securities ahead of the FOMC tomorrow. We got nat gas up a nickel, trading at $1.75. We got gold futures down this morning, down $8.60. And I do believe that qualifies it for a negative pulse wave so far today, bouncing off the overnight low of 21.50.30. Looking at silver also pulling back this morning, down 33 cents, trading at $24.92 right now. It broke the $25 psychological support that we were watching for. Now, coming into today, gold was giving off a sell signal showing that the intraday price inflection point was getting near, and that would trigger the sell stop. And I believe it has done that. So just you can double check by going to Dex's watch list on your dashboard to check me on that. As far as silver, though, we had no confirmation of a sell signal because silver has had a bullish trend momentum reading and has been moving higher. As long as it stays above the top of the Kumo cloud support, this should be looked at as nothing more than a pullback in a locked-in bull market. Silver just crossed over to a bull market a few days ago. It made it official. So the bear market rally that we got became deep and far enough to qualify the market to turn and switch from a bear market to a bull market officially. So today's pullback will be interesting because everything is going to hinge around where the market is going to settle today. Now, I don't put that much bearing on where the market closes today. We'll see what the pulse wave reports have to say about it, but I believe that everything you're seeing is an extended turnaround Tuesday. So today is turnaround Tuesday, but I believe this turnaround is only good until tomorrow's FOMC. Once that FOMC hits, I believe you're going to see a monster reversal in the market. So that means that you're going to see an extraordinary rally in gold and silver and an extraordinary rally in the stock index futures. And you may even see an extraordinary rally in both Bitcoin and Ethereum. So just look for that. But I will say this, it won't matter in Bitcoin and Ethereum if we get a big washout today, which it looks like we're going to get with a 5,000 point trading range almost in your Bitcoin today. You may see more acceleration to the downside as the market enters into a corrective stance. Today's close in the futures is going to be of monumental importance. So just remember that tonight's watch list report will be critical and give us a better understanding of what we can expect going into tomorrow. Looking at copper, copper is down a nickel at $4.07. Yes, copper got above that $4 threshold, so that's definitely one to watch if you trade copper. Looking at the Dow futures, it's holding on to a small gain up 63 points at 39,288. Now, it's been a very tight trading range. Overnight high was 39,311, and the low and overnight was 33,116. Extremely tight trading range heading into the FOMC. Nasdaq, pretty much the same story here, down 14 and a quarter points at 52 at $5,200.50. The overnight high is 52.19 and a quarter, and the overnight low is 51.86. Again, tight trading range. I said Nasdaq, didn't I? I meant the E-mini S&P 500. So tight trading range in the S&P. The Nasdaq 100 is down 141 points, trading at 18,089 and a quarter. Now we hit an overnight high of 18,252 and three quarters, and then the low thus far is 18,053 and a quarter. So a little bit more volatility in the Nasdaq again because of Nvidia. Taking a look at the Russell is down 10.2 points at 2,039.6, and it had a overnight high of 2051.5, and the low is 2032.4. So that's kind of a tight range to what the market's been doing as of late. So I think again, moving into the FOMC tomorrow, it's a big. The market is saying it's a big deal. Now, looking at soybeans, soybeans are off 3 pennies this morning at $11.84 a bushel. Corn, it's trying to get a little thing going here. It's virtually unchanged at $4.36 per bushel, and then wheat up 2 cents, trading at $5.45 a bushel. So again, a lot of tight ranges right now. So just think about that as you're going into it. What the markets are telegraphing is that it's not going to be favorable. That's what they're trying to say. So Bitcoin and Ethereum, the FOMC has nothing to do with those two markets because of how they were moving. Ethereum had already entered into a corrective state, days ago. And I guess we're waiting to see if Bitcoin is going to follow, and it looks like the Bitcoin is following suit. And that's due to purely technicals. All right. You can say that Bitcoin hit that overbought zone by hitting a new 52-week high, a new all-time high. Same thing with the Ethereum, and with no real major correction. So this is not necessarily a top in Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's what is called a short-term top in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let the markets correct. We'll see how deep and how far the correction goes, but it doesn't mean that the bull market's over. It doesn't even mean you should be shorting necessarily. It just means that you should be out of longs. All right. So if you're long Bitcoin and Ethereum futures, you should be out of those long positions. You should have tightened up those stops. Like I always warn you in daily videos that you want to take profit. You'll never go broke taking profits. Okay. Just FYI, moving forward, if you made the mistake, that's okay. That's how we learn from our mistakes. All right, let's look at the market news for the day. So, longtime Goldman executive Stephanie Cohen details her decision to depart for Cloudflare. I wonder, is she any relation to Abby Joseph Cohen, the world-renowned famous analyst at Goldman Sachs from the go-go 90s? Instagram isn't losing the social media wars after all. New research suggests the recession has at least one benefit, which is increasing our lifespan. Really? But the big story is Google, Apple, and AI. Two of the world's biggest tech companies are reportedly discussing a partnership that would upend the AI industry. Apple is considering integrating Google's AI model Gemini into the iPhone. Nothing is finalized as of yet, so the potential deal terms aren't clear, but the board Stokes of the arrangement could see Apple license Gemini to power new features on iPhone software as soon as this year, according to a report from Bloomberg's Mark Gurman. The rumors come at the perfect time for both sides. For weeks, Google has been publicly trashed over Gemini being too woke. The criticism was so loud, the CEO, Sundar Pichai, acknowledged the company got it wrong in a memo. More broadly, investors have questioned if Google can still be considered the tech world's vanguard of cool. Now, see, this is what I'm talking about. This right here is a perfect example of democracy at work, right? Think about it. Now, we've already discussed that your vote really doesn't count per se when you go to your general elections, unless you do what I told you to do and have been telling you to do, which is vote independent and vote out every Democrat and Republican candidate, whether they be incumbents or not. Have no Democrats, have no Republicans at all in Capitol Hill. All independent people, all free of the banking industrial complex known as the central banking system, the the prescription drug companies, you know, the whole pharmaceutical industrial complex, all the complexes, military industrial complex, prison industrial complex. Independents will be free of that, and you don't have to worry about lobbyists. And then what you can do once you have done that, then you can go ahead and uh, make it illegal and kick out all the lobbyists in Capitol Hill. Yep, no more lobbying. Forget about it. Meanwhile, Apple has drawn attention to what it's not doing in AI. Now, again, perfect example. So, Google pushed out Gemini, made it woke as heck. The people voted with their dollars to the point that the CEO had to come out and acknowledge that the company got it wrong in a memo. And not only did they just acknowledge wrongdoing and making a huge, mistake, a huge faux pas, but now say, okay, we got to do something about this to fix this. That is what gets things moving. All right. You spread a little mammon around, and all of a sudden, what do you know? Corporations are listening. No company wants to go broke. The only reason why you still have some big, large corporations that are pushing these agendas at the expense of losing money is because they're not worried about losing money, because they're getting broke off on the back end. Your government is taking care of them on the hush hush on the back end. Somebody has to pay for things, right? There's no such thing as a free ride, a free lunch, right? So if a company is pushing an agenda and the customers hate it, and are boycotting it with their dollars, right? Voting with their dollars, voting with their feet, leaving the company alone, most companies, if not every company in the world, would go broke. If every major 500, corporation lost every customer they ever had and did not generate any new customers, they would go bankrupt. So you have to ask yourself a question. If that is a fact and it is a truth, then why aren't they bankrupt yet? If that is what's happening, it's because when you do the bidding of your government, the government will take care of you on the back end. See what I'm saying? And they don't even have to let the American people know. That's what the black budgets are for. You didn't know that, did you? Yeah. Those line items in the budget, a lot of that black budget, those trillions of dollars, that's what that's going for. Oh, you thought all that money was just going to the military industrial complex to create more crazy weapons? No, no, no. They got their own budget going on. They don't need that. That black budget is for the government taking care of the mainstream media outlets and Hollywood for pushing out the narratives that they want on various social issues and topics. So when the people vote with their money and boycott those companies go bankrupt unless the government is taking care of them. I digress. So meanwhile, Apple has drawn attention to what it's not doing in AI. The company has been noticeably quiet around its AI plans compared to peers like Google, Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon. Now, CEO Tom Cook alluded to a bigger announcement about the tech later this year at Apple's annual shareholder meeting. But the company seems to be playing catch up as it reallocated resources from its scrapped electric vehicle to focus on generative AI. Now, by teaming up, Google's Gemini gets a much needed vote of confidence and access to the iPhone's sizable user base. And Apple keeps pace in the AI race by outsourcing some of its messy bits of the business. So Wall Street seems to agree. Both companies' shares rallied off the back of the report. We'll see how long that lasts, though. Apple and Google have a history of successful partnerships. Did you know that? Google has paid Apple to be the default search provider on the iPhone for years. You probably didn't know that. Apple gets a nice chunk of change, reportedly $18 billion in 2021. Google maintains its place as the go-to search engine on the internet, so it's a win-win. Now, the tie-up isn't without its critics, though. It's a key piece of the Department of Justice's lawsuit against Google for anti-competitive and exclusionary behavior in a landmark trial for big tech that kicked off last year. Now, see, stop right there. It's very interesting how the government picks and chooses when and what laws it's going to stand by. Now, you've heard me say this before. They want to talk about anti-competitive and exclusionary behavior. First of all, the government is the biggest monopoly in the world. All right. So you're not trying to break your government. You're not trying to go from big big government to small government. Why don't you break up the US government? Because the US government is a behemoth. It's a monopoly, right? Now, not only that, but when it comes to monopolies, technically, monopolies in and of themselves, from an organic perspective, are not illegal in the United States. They're legal when the government says it's okay. Case in point, I explained to you how cable companies operate under a monopoly. Each cable company has its own jurisdiction that no other cable company can infringe upon. Did you know that? Yeah. Those agreements have been there for forever. Now, there was some shakeup in that when Verizon came out with Fios. All right, some kind of way, Files was able to come in and lay all their um can't think of it. What is it? I know it. Hold on. Their I can't think. You guys type it in there for me. You know what I'm talking about. The those fiberglass type uh those lines when they had to lay those lines. Because remember, Verizon is also a utility. Comcast wasn't. Now, over time, I think this happened back during the Obama administration when they changed the rules and said that now cable companies are utilities. Okay, so yeah, so Verizon was always a phone company. Then it became considered a utility company because it had actual phone lines that it would let other smaller companies lease from them. You know how that goes. So monopolies do exist in the realm of big business. It's just that the government allows some and disallows others. It picks and chooses. So even if Apple and Google came to an agreement, they could still face some serious regulatory pushback. And to be clear, Bloomberg's report mentioned Apple had discussions with OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT, about a similar arrangement. So there's still a long way to go. But if the history of Apple and Google's deals has taught us anything, their combined power is almost unmatched. And again, because of how they pick and choose to enforce what laws. A Goldman goodbye from one of the top women on Wall Street. Stephanie Cohen is departing the bank to join Cloudflare as its first ever chief strategy officer. She reflected on her 20-plus year career at Goldman, her advice to the bank's executives, and why she's jumping headfirst into tech. Wall Street is feeling optimistic about a soft landing. It's risk on for many investors who are betting the economy will be just fine. The street is mostly bullish thanks to economic growth and the prospect of interest rate cuts being in the pipeline. Japan's central bank raised interest rates for the first time in 17 years. The last time the Bank of Japan hiked borrowing costs was in February of 2007. The market's response to its move was muted, with Tokyo's benchmark Nikkei 225 index closing around 0.7% higher on Tuesday. But it should be also noted the U.S. stock index indicator, i.e., the euro yen, is rallying quite powerfully. So that's another reason why I believe that Turnaround Tuesday is going to lead into a broader rally after the FOMC tomorrow. We'll see how that stands. Instagram is beating TikTok. Instagram far outpaced TikTok in global downloads last year, using its core photo feature and Reels to win over consumers. Still, people are spending more time on TikTok than on Instagram. Well, the battle of the social media continues, right? TikTok and Instagram are two, behemoths in the space. There's still a lot of people on there. Here's what creators were talking about at SXSW. While AI was a popular topic of discussion, many panels failed to talk about its downsides. Meanwhile, some creators and employees said they were bored of talking about a potential TikTok ban. Well, look, I have not been shy about the positives and negatives of AI. Okay, I've discussed it, and we'll get into a little bit more of that a little later. Recessions have a weird benefit. They help us live longer. New research found the worse the economy is, the longer we live. That's because it cuts down on pollution. With less activity, fewer people driving to work, factories and offices slowing down, the air gets cleaner. Now, I'm going to call bunk on that. All right. I'm going to call cap. All right. That research is slanted and it is not real peer reviewed research. Not really. All right. Because just because fewer human beings are traveling to an office to work, it doesn't mean they're still not working. All right. the definition of work still means the ability to move. All right. The definition is doesn't mean where you move or how you move, but the actual concrete organic definition of work is the ability to move. So motion is still happening even when people work from home. They're burning electricity. Depending on the weather and climate, they may be using a wood burning fireplace. All right. So you're still not saving anything. And also, when you look at the power companies, there will be at full tilt because more people are using energy that they normally wouldn't have used because they would have been using it at an office space. Instead, now their home is making up for that energy that the office is now not generating. All you're doing is shifting where the quote unquote pollution is coming from. And as you know, there are all types of pollution. It's not just smog and what comes out of your exhaust when you drive your car. All right. All of the technology that we use emits radiation, which you can claim is a form of pollution as well. So you're not cutting down on that. And that's not going to make people live longer because of that. All right. There's no correlation to that. Remember, correlation doesn't always mean or equal to causation and vice versa. So just because people aren't driving as much, that's not going to do anything for the environment. Okay, it's just what it is. The environment's still going to be doing what it's doing. The factories are still going to be at full tilt. They'll just use machines and AI instead of human people, and that is more energy being consumed. Yeah, think about it. If you have 5,000 people working in a factory, and then you replace those 5,000 people with 5,000 machines. The question for you, this is a question for you now. Have you cut down on pollution or have you increased it? Now, think about it. 5,000 people. And let's say each person drives to work. So that's 5,000 cars, right? Putting emissions into the air, right? But that's not true. All right. That's a red herring because in most states, especially California and Virginia, you got to take your vehicle into emissions on an annual or biannual basis. All right. So, and not to mention, they make cars now today to put out fewer emissions. Not to mention, a lot of people drive electric cars and hybrid electric cars. So that argument doesn't hold weight like it did back in the 1970s when there were no electric vehicles. All right. And no one gave a darn about emissions. But now we're in 2024. So emissions pollution being put out by automobiles is a misnomer and no longer valid in the here and now. However, what you just done is you've actually created more pollution when you got rid of the 5,000 people and replaced them with 5,000 machines. Because now the 5,000 machines require a heck of a lot more energy because they're literally plugged into the power grid. A human being is not plugged into the power grid. The human being is using computer terminals and what have you, electronics, they're using technology. But now you got 5,000 more technologies plugged into the same energy grid. So it's causing the smokestacks to rise higher at the utilities because now more people are pulling more resources from the power generators. So technically speaking, you're using more energy, not less, when you replace people with machines. I digress. 5 Hour Energy's billionaire owner elbowed his way into publishing Sports Illustrated. Now he's lost it. Late last year, he took control of Sports Illustrated, publisher Arena Group, swiftly laying off dozens of employees. His erratic behavior and failure to pay a licensing fee, however, resulted in him losing it. He lost Sports Illustrated. Interesting. Reddit CEO defended his massive pay package. Steve Huffman said in a video Q&A that his $193 million compensation package was based on both salary and stock. Some Cure Reddit and X users feel the amount is too high for a platform that doesn't pay its moderators and hasn't been profitable thus far. See how they do things? Interesting. Drake Bell knows life is not a Disney movie. Trump, in a 5,000-page New York fraud case filing, says he can't foot the $464 million appeal bond. TikTok's new creator rewards program is all about boosting search and competing with YouTube. Elon Musk says he takes a small amount of ketamine every other week. A server anomaly that made it look like some advertisers were bidding billions of dollars sent the ad tech industry into chaos. A Lady Gaga Google search shows how AI is appending the world's most profitable online business. Site owners are terrified. And here's what's happening today. U.S. presidential primary elections will be held in Arizona, Florida, Illinois, Kansas, and Ohio. And NCAA March Madness kicks off today. Now, isn't it funny that TikTok is coming for YouTube? All this time, YouTube has been a monopoly. It has the most search results up there. I think it's up there with Google, right? I know YouTube has like 1 billion searches on its platform every day. So you could say it's been a monopoly. It controlled a lot of content until other social media outlets come out. They're all competing, but YouTube is still the monopoly today. So now TikTok is coming into that space. That's interesting. We'll see how that goes. But this whole AI thing, we need some perspective on this whole AI thing, folks. All right. Again, there are downsides to AI. AI is no better than its programmers. Whatever they program it to do or not do, that's what it's going to do. All right. And there's nothing you can do to change it. It has to be changed at the program level. So all AI is technically is a control mechanism. And when I say AI, I'm not referring to all the other applications. I'm strictly referring to it in social media and as far as Google search results. You control the flow of information. That's what AI is really being used for, to control the flow of information when it comes to social media. I'm not talking about AI, in your cars and your smartphones and all that. I'm talking from a social perspective, like Chat GPT, like YouTube, Google search. Okay. AI is the best way to control what search results come up. Now, they've already changed their platforms and how things come up, where they, the things that they like and are going to support the narrative will come up to the top of your search results. Everything else is pushed into oblivion. Well, AI makes it even. Think of what they did to the search results as one thing, but the AI is now the police officer that's guarding the information. So they put a wall around in the form of AI that will guarantee that you will not get to those results. So it's gotten to the point now, if you don't know the website link that you really want to go to, chances of you being able to pull that up just by typing a few keywords is 0 to none. And that's just the way it is. So the downside of AI is that it can be used to control the flow of information better than just a standard search engine like Google or even YouTube for that matter. So no, not only have they made a lot of headway in cleaning up the internet by banning people's blogs, deleting people's content on YouTube and other platforms, deplatforming individuals. All that is censorship. That's policing the internet. That's policing the internet. It's policing the internet and taking away free speech in the process. They don't need to pass a new amendment to the Constitution to take away free speech. They've given that purview to the corporations. Here, you take the ball and run with it. You police yourself. Oh, and by the way, if you fail to police yourself to the level that we like and we want, then we'll just take you before the Department of Justice and launch investigations, hit you with tens of millions of dollars in fines or hundreds of millions of dollars in fines. So either you're going to do this self-policing the way we want you to, or else. That's the workaround the government has gone to. That's why you don't hear any politicians talking about free speech. No, you hear them talking about national security and hate speech. Anything that goes against the narrative is hate speech, no matter what the topic or subject is. All right. That's the big danger of AI. You know, oh, AI is great. No, it's not. It's only great to people that are born now that have no history of how the internet has progressed over the decades. They've never seen a rotary dial telephone. They've never seen a pager. They don't know what Sky Pager is. All right. So, yeah, to them, this is great. The evolution from the time they were conscious of the internet and smartphones to now the introduction of the AI part, oh, it's radical for them. This is incredible. This is amazing. But they don't understand that everything has been sanitized. And now all they know is the sanitized version of the internet. And now some of the information that they allow to come up on search engines, they've tagged it like a gang. They put their gang tag all over it. This is fake news. We need to add this disclaimer to this one here. This person's far left. This person's far right. This person's this. This person's that. This person's a Marxist, socialist, communist. This person. That's not free speech. That's again government control and censorship, using corporations to do their dirty bidding so that the government doesn't have blood on its hands. It could say we have no control over that. We don't know anything about that. That's why when a sitting U.S. president was booted off of social media, the U.S. government acted as if it was powerless to do anything about it. They didn't say, "Hey, this is an issue of national security." Not at all. Not at all. So yeah, the corruption is rampant, folks. All right. That's all we got for today. Hopefully you got something out of it. If you did, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already done so. And telephone, tell a friend, tell a Greek. Remember that from Big Fat Greek Wedding? Yeah, so it's what we do over here, man. You never know who these videos may help or encourage or what have you. You just never know. So go ahead and make it happen. The system works if you work the system, because bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And on that note, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.